How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, we know who this is. Betty Shelby. And she's killed our king here, Terrence Crutchard. We seen we seen it with our eyes. But you know how they get down in law enforcement. And I found out some interesting things about her. I did not know that Betty Shelby had a violent past. I was over watching retired sheriff Cheryl. What is Cheryl's? What's her last name? I think it's Dorsey. Yes, and I'm gonna play her video too. But anytime I hear anything, I don't just take people's word for it. I go do my own research. So I have an article to read to the royal family that I will pin, that I found here. Yeah, let's leave that right there. Let's leave that right here. Officer Betty Shelby. Look at that. Officer Betty Shelby has history of drug use and domestic disturbance. Oh, yes. So it's better for me to read off of my other computer, and y'all know why, because I'm dyslexic. So I gotta make it wide so I can not overlap. So here, let me see. Let me scroll this up a little taste. We're gonna focus on her only right now. The demented white Oklahoma police officer who fatally shot an unarmed black man last week is under federal investigation after the man's family demanded she face criminal charges. Prior to being slapped with a manslaughter charge, Officer Betty Shelby work history and past conduct came under scrutiny as authorities investigated whether the 5-year department veteran acted within reason or malice in killing a 40-year-old Terrence Crutchard. Shelby was a deputy for the Tulsa County Sheriff Office before her employment with Tulsa in 2011. Her 2007 job application for the sheriff office was publicly disclosed Monday, and in it reports how she circled yes when asked whether she had possessed or used illegal drugs in the past. The officer released a letter in Shelby's disclosing using marijuana twice at age 18. Huffington Post reports how Shelby has divorced and remarried at least once. Her ex-husband's new wife once filed a protective order against her in 2002 to put an end to harassing phone calls Shelby made. Shelby denied the accusations, and because the system is skewed to protect police, the order was eventually denied. In the same job application, Shelby mentioned various domestic disturbance, including a breakup with her then boyfriend that led to 2 damaging each other's cars. Temporary restraining orders were filed and eventually tossed out. Officer Shelby also had 2 excessive force complaints, but both of these cases were dismissed because they were held to be unfounded. She has no disciplinary actions against her while working at the sheriff's office. Shelby, who is currently on administrative leave as the investigation pushed forward, is now the target of the same scrutiny and harassment that many victims of police shootings have experienced. And I should have gave y'all the date on that. Excuse me. Let me see here, because that was dated back September 23rd, 2016. Well, when I was listening to Cheryl Dorsey, her violent past has reared up its ugly head. So let's listen to over here on Black Junction. Let's hear what Cheryl Dosey has to say about this.
Last week from the family of Terrence Crutcher. Dr. Tiffany Crutcher is his twin sister. And I received an email from her last week, and she was asking that this be done. And it's kind of a lengthy deal, but I'm going to also put this in the comments. And what the family is asking is this. Here's what they found out. Betty Shelby, and I talk about her all the time, because she keeps coming up. There's things that are going on that folks need to know about. We need to not sleep on Betty Shelby. You know that she's allowed to teach how to get away with murder. She calls it how to survive a critical incident to law enforcement officials. And I guess it must be working out pretty good, because I saw something that said she's actually stepping down from Rogers County Sheriff's Department as a reserve deputy so that she could do the thing full time. She means to make this her new career, right? She means to benefit financially on the death of Terrence Crutcher. And so this, what I'm going to share with you right now, is my next ask. This is a letter that the family of Terrence Crutcher is asking everyone to send, because what the family has found out is this. Tulsa PD got some splaining to do, because they knew before Betty Shelby was hired that she had a history. She had a violent history. And they didn't act on it. And they knew that she had been involved in some situations that involved domestic violence. There were restraining orders that had been placed against her because she had pulled a knife on her husband. Her children were, I guess, taken away and testified against her. And Tulsa PD knew all of this. They knew about all of that, and they hired her nonetheless. So the family believes that, they have some culpability, because they unleashed this woman on an unknowing community when really she should have been disqualified at the hiring stage, based on all of the things that she was involved in, based on the fact that there were restraining orders that had been taken out against her for, she took a shovel to a car, she had stalked or somehow otherwise harassed the ex-wife of one of her many husbands, because she's got a few. I'll just leave that there. She's got a few. And Tulsa PD knew all of this. They knew all of this, and they hired her nonetheless. So the information is a cut and paste job, if you will, that I just posted. The family is asking that you contact the mayor in Tulsa, and evidently they also want this letter to be sent not only to the mayor, but also to the I guess they call them districts, to the various districts there, and they're numbered 1 through 9. So if you would send this letter, and I'm going to add each person that needs to get a letter, send it first to the mayor, and then CC these other council members, I guess is what you would call them. CC these other council members with this same letter. There's a place for you to add your name at the very end, and this would be very helpful to the family. So please do that. My second ask, very important. This is not time sensitive, but this is certainly something that the family would appreciate if folks were to send this letter out, right? I'm hoping, it's kind of long, so, bear with me. I'm hoping that you guys can see the link with the email addresses, mayor@cityoftulsa.org, and then all of the other districts that need to be CC'd. Remember, I always talk about a paper trail and, CC lottie-dottie and everybody. Well, this is one of those situations where you need to CC everybody at the request of the family of Terrence Crutcher. They are looking to have something put into place where a police department does not overlook these kinds of discretions, if you will, when they are looking to hire a police officer. Betty Shelby had demonstrated clearly that she was unfit. She demonstrated that she lacked impulse control, that she lacked good judgment, and with all of that, Tulsa PD hired her nonetheless. And on the heels of that, Rogers County Sheriff's Department hired her, knowing. So it's the family's hope that they can institute some sort of reform there in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, so that police officers who have a history similar to the history that Betty Shelby had does not fall through the cracks and get hired and then go on to do that thing, that awful thing that she did in taking the life of Terrence Crutcher. So please, please, share that on your timeline. Do send that email forward and ask everyone that you know to do the same thing, and ask them to ask everyone that they know to do the same thing. The next story that I'm going to talk about involves my sister.
All right, my royal family. Let's get back over here. What I will do, because that's what I did not do, I will get that link if anybody is interested in writing a letter, voicing how they, feel, why is this deranged ass woman still on the force, and and that's what Miss Dorsey was saying, that now she's teaching other police officers how to simply get away with murder. This is ridiculous. And we have to remember, my royal family, that we are taxpayers. We pay them. They work for us. Even though, they don't think like that. They're nothing more than another gang that's terrorizing the streets of America, especially black folks. We already know this, because as I speak, trust and believe, every millisecond, one of these pigs is out here doing something to the royal family. That's just their MO. But we need to continue, the people that follow through on things, because I'm gonna put one out and put that out and letting them know, no, this ain't gonna jive. We gotta keep the pressure on. And even in your surrounding communities, things that we don't hear about, make the effort. Now everything is click, click, click online. You don't even have, you can do it online and shoot that email to them and voice how you feel. And like she's saying, CC, because it's various people. You send it to the mayor. You go as far up the chain as possible, because this shit is ridiculous. And I knew they were waiting for that toxicology report when she shot him. I seen the whole thing. I said, if it comes back that he has any drugs, that makes it easier for them, for their unquote argument. She literally shot this dude in cold blood. She murdered him. It wasn't no manslaughter, because some of them have the taste of blood. So we need to continue to keep up the pressure. So I just wanted to get that out to the royal family. And as always, my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.